Hey there, it's Boots Owen here. There's lots of noise because I'm outside looking at 4 washing machines in the back. Mila, just about to see. I haven't made a video on that. I might have done the filter on it, but I haven't made any videos of it yet. Beko 5kg, it's just moved out of the garage. It's sprung a leak a few times. 2 times out of maybe 10 washes it leaked. Not all over the floor, but just a bit of a puddle. Hot point, we've seen that one in action. Works well. It's been outside for quite a few months now, and then another Beko WMB 10W tucked in there. But everything's been pushed out of the way at the moment because I've got these solar panels here that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. So if we take a step back, you can see over here I've been trying to figure out where to put the solar panels, and the idea is that there's my garage in full sun. To get back into the shade, the idea is to build a carport with a roof about half the length, so 3 meters this way, and then coming out from there 4.5 meters. Drop down a little bit from that white line, drop down a little bit to let some light into the windows there, and set back maybe a meter from the garage, and then so 5 meters from there, roughly to where that brick is there, as a distance. And I've been toying with a couple of things. So this piece of wood is east-west, and so south is that way. However, when I park the car, I tend to park it in line with these flags, which is straight in from the gate. So if I put the legs 3 meters apart on these white stones by 3.3, which works for one design of carport I've got, it would have this weird angle, so you could fit the car in between them, but it would be a bit weird. What I'd prefer is to have them here, 3 meters, 3 meters, or 3 meters, this one to this one, 3 meters, and then build it up from there. But you're talking about an angle of maybe 20 degrees to the sun, to south, so you're facing south, southeast a bit maybe. As you can see, once you get up high, so just up there, so that's about 1.5 meters off the ground. 1.8 meters at this time, late afternoon in September. We're still getting the sun, but it would be at the wrong angle completely, but it would still get something on there. There's no sun all afternoon when I was setting out this stuff. It was raining, so that's a completely overcast day. Andy suggested that 25 degrees would be the angle, and coincidentally that is 25 degrees there, this angle of this roof, so it would make sense to have it in the same plane as that, and it would look better and everything else. I could of course have the legs here where the red bricks are and some complex geometry to rotate the roof, but that would be a bit silly maybe, and that's what I was toying with here. So these red bricks, roughly that one, there's a red brick over there and a flower pot over there, that's where the roof would be, roughly speaking. If I had it at that angle, the roof, the solar panels. So that's what I've been messing around with, and you've had a few minutes of that there, and I've got a load of cheap seconds aggregates, burst bags, come in at a quarter to a third of the price of regular aggregates if you're buying gravel and stuff in the city. I also had a bit of luck with timber. If you have a look, 3.3 meters long I think they are, 12 by 4. These don't come up every day. It's a shame they were cut down, but if we go over here, I don't know what lengths they were originally. I'm suspecting it was about 4.8 or something like that. We got 2.1, 1.7 or something, 1.75 and 1.2. They just chopped them up for some reason. I guess they were going to do a job with them. They're massive hunks of timber that I got for free, and I've got a 12 by 6 in there, a big lintel off a house, an old house, and then I've got 2 pallets, 3 meters by 2 meters, and some 5 meter long up in the sky 3 by 2s, and so I'm hoping they'll be adequate to use to, instead of a kind of a metal channel, to use instead of uni struts or something like that, I'll just use 3 by 2s to support the panels. So the idea is to have 2 frames with trusses on top. This is not going to make any sense here. If I go back over here, looking at the garage, if I have two frames, so a leg here and a leg coming up at an angle to support a beam there, and maybe with the horizontal to tie it, that should be enough. Two of those made out of these pieces here, ripped down the center into either 4x4s or 3.5 by 3.5s, or 6x4s, or roughly 5.5 by 3.5. I've also got these other lintels that came out of a house, or they're not, I think they were roof purlins. They're about 11 by 3. I've got a few of them at different lengths, not quite as long, but I've got one up there at 3.1 meters, which will be handy. And the plan is just to dig holes, put in a metal spike with a plate on top of it to bolt these two so they're all above ground. There's no timber below ground. I've got them made up in the garage. And that's that. If you've got any comments about mounting solar panels as a carport, let me know. Some people might watch this video and know what I'm talking about. Turn off that radio. So I've got these legs made up. They'll go into the ground, 600mm plus, and I'll put a saw cut in the bottom of the timber and just bolt it through. That's made out of a bit of RSJ welded to a bit of, I don't know, 40mm box. And here's a bigger one because I ran out of 40mm box. Just happened to have a piece of that black stuff. It's about 50mm box or something. And that's the RSJ down there, or I-beam. I cut one of the flanges off and just chopped it up into pieces, so it's like that. That's where we are with that. Oh, and I welded on some other bits just to give it a grip in the concrete. They don't need to be so big. It's just bits of scrap that I had from the scrap pile. So I'm inclined now, I've spent 600 quid on the system, the solar system. I'm inclined to spend nothing on the frames, given that I start finding stuff. Over here is Mooney. I've just plumbed it in today and haven't tried it yet. So in a future video there'll be some indesit moon stuff. Might have made a filter video on that already. Can't say if I've uploaded it or not. Anything else in the garage? Don't think so. Colwood is still over here. It hasn't moved since I brought it in, basically. I thought about doing it today, but then I started setting out that garage stuff or carport stuff. Nothing over there. And back outside again. Oh, no, over here. Found in the dust bins. No, found in a skip this week. A Bosch Athlete 25.2 volt lithium ion vacuum cleaner. And I've done a teardown on one of those already. Made a video, but never published it because it wasn't particularly revealing. Took it out of the skip, and if I but it's flashing there for a low battery, so all it needs is to be charged, I presume. And if not, I have a battery pack for it and it needs a clean, so I'll make a video cleaning that, presumably in due course. Back outside again, with the light changing. I found a couple of cool things recently. This guy is a Pashley trike, and it's excellent, but it's got a wobbly back wheel. Got that from a skip. School was throwing out a load of toys. Back wheel wobbles, and there's just a little plastic bearing, really, is all it is in there that's missing or cracked. So I'll try and make one of those, I guess. And then over here on the grass from the same school is this massive trike. It's massive. It's big enough for me to ride. It's got big, what must be like wheelbarrow, bigger than wheelbarrow size wheels. I think they're 12 by 5s. It's made by Dino Cars, 16 by 6.5s. Wow, they're pretty big. It's made by Dino Cars. They make these quite industrial kids' toys for schools and whatnot. It's really cool. It rides really well. The only thing is the saddle's a bit loose. And it just fits into a socket. And the socket needs some kind of a plastic bushing or something, and it's not there. The only thing that was wrong with that is that this bolt here had come out, and then the flange on the plate on top had bent, and that was it. So I bent this back and put a new bolt in the bottom and put air in the tires, and that was it. Crazy, but that's how schools work. They also threw out this guy, which is another one of these Dino toys. Dino Cars scooters. but it's got 8x3s, I think, or what does it say there? 3x4s, but it's 260 diameter, so they're about 10-inch tires, but they're pneumatic, and that's pretty neat as well. I've been scooting on that, and it's pretty cool. Really robust, solid steel, proper ball bearings in all the wheels, like big ball bearings with a big 3/4 inch axle. Quite amazing. It had 2 flat tires, and that was it. 2 flat tires, and the tube on the front one, its valve had broken off, so I pumped up the rear and got a new tube, and that cost me a few quid. But this is an excellent little toy for me or for anyone younger than me who might get a go on it. Then in this week's good luck, I was out shopping and I noticed that somebody was cutting down a big ash tree, and this isn't the half of it. I couldn't take most of it, but there's a bit more over here, and there's a bit more over beside those bulk containers there. But this is just the top section. The bottom section was possibly a meter in diameter, and there was a meter in diameter and about 5 meters long times 2. Huge big sections, and they were chopping them up for firewood, and it was crazy because they were huge pieces of wood. You know, you'd get a 3-foot slab out of the center of that if you wanted. I couldn't even handle them, they're so big. I could if I tried, but like putting them in a back of a Volkswagen Golf is something else. So this is 2 Volkswagen Golf loads of timber, and the reason I took these pieces and left the rest is because my wood stores are somewhat full at the moment. In here and down there's 8 cubic meters of wood, but they were so good, so clean, so easy to split. They had it all chopped into firewood lengths. There was nothing substantial, because I was thinking for this carport thing I could easily make them you know, out of round wood. If I could get some ash boughs, I've got one ash bough there, it's only a 4-incher. If you got some ones that were 6-inch diameter, I think I could start with them, build it out of that. But nice straight timber, but I don't have any, and so this white stuff came along. 12x3 and 12x4, it's crazy. Just got it. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time when some guys were cleaning out a store cupboard in an office block, just by pure chance. Then behind them, 2 IBCs, because I've got a plan for a rainwater collector, because I've had great success with my little rainwater tank over there. I think I need to get up on these guys and use it for flushing the toilet at the very least, or something like that, and watering the garden. But what I've noticed is that when you actually want to water the garden, a 200 litre tank, or 160 litres or whatever it is, it's already empty after a couple of days, and then you're in a dry spell. So 2,000 litres should go a little bit further. That's the plan for that. Tomatoes are coming to the end, but I've had countless suppers off these tomatoes, and they're still going red. Plum tomatoes for cooking, and they're still growing. There's loads of them, and I don't see the point in stopping them because they just keep ripening outside. This is Manchester in late September, and they're coming on strong. They're still coming on strong. And I've got some other vegetables planted as well, but nothing too interesting. Thinking about YouTube then. I've been here talking for nearly a quarter of an hour, but thinking about YouTube. I found a new channel. I don't often find a new channel. One that's worth checking out, I'd say, if you're into stuff like I've been talking about here, called Save It for Parts. This guy in Minnesota, in America, in the USA, doing things with boats and making stuff and railroad track riding toys and stuff like that, you know, really cool stuff. It's worth checking it out, Save It for Parts. And the other one that I've been watching for a few months now, Greens and Machines, greensandmachines.com, Greens and Machines on YouTube. There's 2 sides to it, greens, vegetables and whatnot, but I'm more interested in the machines. There's a guy called Diecaster D, has been doing videos about foundry stuff, and if you recall, back in the garage, my little foundry still hasn't had its day out. Made a couple of got a couple of crucibles, made a couple of sets of tongs. You can barely see them, but there's a couple of sets of tongs in there for lifting and pouring. all I need is the will to do it and the time to do it, and these things elude me at the moment. I've moved on to solar panels, and that's that. So, 15 minutes of listening to Owen talk about things. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.